There was a time when music wasn't just sound, it was soul, a language of truth, pain, love, and rebellion. From the smooth melodies of Motown to the electric chaos of classic rock, the music of the 60s, 70s, 80s was alive, raw, imperfect, human. It wasn't made for algorithms, it wasn't made for chasing trends, it came from somewhere deeper, it had meaning. Then came a storm. In the 90s and early 2000s, rap exploded. Raw, poetic, political, powerful. Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Eminem, voices from the streets became global icons, and for a while, rap was truth, in a new language. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Music became a product, built for virality, engineered for streams, same beats, same lyrics, same formulas, TikTok trends replaced storytelling, and soul was traded for clicks. This is a story about the fall of purity, power, and purpose. This is the downfall of music. Long before algorithms and autoplay, music lived in smoky bars, packed arenas, and grooves of a spinning record. The 1960s through the 1980s were more than just decades. They were movements, each carried by sound. You didn't just hear the song, you felt it. In Detroit, Motown gave the world voices that bled soul. Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder. They didn't need autotune, just a microphone, a story, and pain that poured out like poetry. Rock was a rebellion. Hendrix lit his guitar on fire, literally and figuratively. Queen didn't just play songs, they orchestrated anthems. Music wasn't about image, it was about impact. The imperfections were a part of the beauty, voices cracked, instruments clashed, but when you heard was real. No filters, no effects, just emotions. These artists weren't chasing fame through trends, they were building legacy through truth. And whether it was rock, soul, funk, or disco, music had something it struggles to find today: authenticity. The Beatles weren't just a band, they were a cultural shift. In the span of a single decade, they rewrote the rules of music, evolving from teenage heartthrobs to psychedelic visionaries. From the simplicity of Love Me Do to the layered brilliance of A Day in the Life, Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr didn't follow pop, they reshaped it. They showed the world that music could be emotional and intelligent. The artist could experiment, evolve, and still stay timeless. Led Zeppelin didn't make songs, they built epics. Their music was primal, mythic, electric. From the thunder of When the Levee Breaks to the slow build of Stairway to Heaven, Zeppelin made you feel like you were hearing something forbidden, something eternal. No choruses, no formula, just raw power and artistry. Each note was deliberate, every pause was sacred. If Zeppelin brought fire, Pink Floyd brought space. Their music was immersive, not just sound, but environment. The Dark Side of the Moon became more than an album, it was a rite of passage. They explored madness, war, greed, isolation, and wrapped those themes in soundscapes so haunting they still echo today. Pink Floyd didn't just entertain, they challenged you to listen deeper, to think further. The Eagles sang for drifters, dreamers, and the brokenhearted. With their soft, rock storytelling and perfect harmonies, they captured a generation of American restlessness. Songs like Hotel California and Desperado weren't just hits, they were mere reflections of a fading dream. They blended genres without ever compromising soul. From the Beatles' evolution to Floyd's isolation, from Zeppelin's roar to the Eagles' melancholy, this was an era of meaning. It was messy, honest, human, and above all, it was real. The music didn't chase attention, it earned respect. But just as music reached its most artistic heights, something new began to rise from the streets, and it would change everything. As rock soared through stadiums and soul echoed through jukeboxes, something raw was bubbling beneath the surface. In the alleys of the Bronx, on the corners of Brooklyn, a new sound was forming, built on rhythm, rebellion, and reality. Hip-hop didn't start in boardrooms or studios, it started at block parties. DJs like Kool Herc looped breaks from funk records, while MCs hyped up the crowd, not knowing they were creating a genre. Rap was never just music, it was a movement, born from poverty, pain, and pride. It gave the voice to those who had none. The mainstream wasn't ready for it, but the streets were, and soon the world would be too. In the 90s, rap reached its golden era, and two names rose above the rest: Tupac Shakur and Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls. Tupac was a poet, a prophet, a contradiction. He could rap about thug life 1 minute, and then question the world with Dear Mama the next. Biggie brought flow, smooth, confident, effortless. Juicy, more money, more problems, 10 crack commandments. His rhymes were vivid portraits of hustle and hunger. Together they turned hip-hop into a mirror, reflecting America's race, class, and violence, and their deaths weren't just tragic, they were turning points. When we think of Eminem, we think raw, ruthless, revolutionary. At the turn of the millennium, hip-hop saw another shift. A white rapper from Detroit flipped the industry on its head. Eminem brought unfiltered rage, unmatched wordplay, and the kind of vulnerability that made fans lean in. The real Slim Shady made you laugh, Stan made you think, Lose Yourself made you feel unstoppable. He wasn't just shocking, he was sharp, and it forced the industry to take lyricism serious again. By the early 2000s, rap wasn't underground anymore, it was mainstream. Albums went platinum, artists became moguls, hip-hop was no longer knocking on the door, it had taken over. Rap was now culture, fashion, attitude, identity. What started as soundtracking block parties became a billion-dollar industry, but it was more than that. It was honest, it was flawed, it was fearless. It spoke for the voiceless, and in doing so, it became the heartbeat of a generation. But as rap rose to the top, something started to shift. The hunger was replaced with algorithms, the poetry with patterns, and slowly the soul began to fade. Music used to be timeless, now it's on a timer. What once took years to write, record, and perfect is now mass-produced, uploaded, and forgotten in 15 seconds. When T-Pain hit the charts in the mid-2000s, autotune was a tool, not a crutch. It added flavor, distortion, something different. But somewhere along the way, the industry stopped using it for effect and started using it for everything. Today, you don't even need to sing. Just whisper into a mic, the computer does the rest. And while it can be an artistic choice, too often it's used to cover up the absence of real talent, real emotion, real soul. Scroll through the top charts today. It's hard to tell where one song ends and where the next begins. 808s, trap hats, minor key piano loops, the same structure, the same themes. Flexing cash, private jets, heartbreak on loop, it's all been said, it's all been sold. Lyrics used to tell stories, now they repeat the same hook, over and over. In this TikTok era, music isn't made to be felt, it's made to be clipped. Catchy intros, 10-second hooks, a dance challenge, a filter, that's the formula. Some songs go viral before they're even finished. Labels rush to package the trend, leaving artistry and longevity behind. We now consume music like fast food, quick, easy, and disposable. Pop music used to mean artists like Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, voices that could shatter glass, stories that could break your heart. Rap once gave us Nas, DMX, and Lauryn Hill, storytellers with something to say. Now, the charts are flooded with clones, artists chasing likes, not legacies. You can feel the difference, the stakes are gone, the why is missing. When music became a business, it lost something priceless, intention. Today's artists are more connected than ever. Millions of followers, millions of plays, but the connection to the listener is gone. We don't listen to the albums, we scroll past singles. We don't feel the songs, we filter them. What once healed, united, and challenged us now fits neatly between ads. Music didn't die, but it did get quieter. It's lost its edge, it's lost its soul. And maybe one day, it'll find its way back. Once upon a time, rap was about rising out of the struggle. Now it's about staying in it and bragging about the pain. We used to hear verses about family, survival, and ambition. Now, it's all flex, trap, repeat. Tupac spoke about broken homes. Nas painted pictures of street survival. Jay-Z turned hustling into a business plan. There was pain, yes, but also purpose. The goal was to make it out, to escape the cycle, but something changed. Somewhere along the way, struggle became the aesthetic. Trap music started as a raw reflection of street life in Atlanta. It was real, it was grim, it had depth. But today, trap is a formula. Drugs, jail, violence, rinse and repeat. We've gone from stories of survival to soundtracks for self-destruction. Jail isn't a cautionary tale anymore, it's a badge of honor. What's missing in today's rap? Family, responsibility, growth. You won't hear about being a good father or building something that lasts or even learning from mistakes. It's all designer brands, pills, ops, and women as trophies. Shallow, predictable, emptied out of something that once made rap powerful. The worst part about it all, it sells. The industry rewards artists not for what they say, but how loud, toxic, or catchy they can make the pain sound. Rap used to teach, now it teaches nothing. Young kids don't just hear these songs, they become them. If all you feed a generation is destruction, that's all they'll know how to create. No vision, no uplift, just a race to self-destruct and make it look cool on the way down. We didn't just lose the music, we lost the message. And until rap finds that conscience again, it'll keep making hits, but it won't make history. Most people think music is all about talent, that if a song is popular, it must be good. But in 2025, music isn't just made in studios anymore. It's made in boardrooms, in spreadsheets, in algorithms. Major labels used to take risks. They'd sign raw talent, help artists grow, they chased originality. Now they chase data. Labels look at streams, engagement, TikTok virality. They don't want artists, they want influencers with auto-tune. If you're not viral, they won't even listen. And if you are, they'll sign you, strip you of creativity, and milk you dry. Platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube are no longer neutral. They're the new radio stations, only they don't play what's best, they play what sells the best. Streaming algorithms boost what's short, catchy, repeatable. That's why every course sounds the same, why every beat is a copy of the last. Music used to surprise you, now it predicts you. These companies aren't curating for soul, they're curating for addiction. They want songs that loop in your head, hooks that sound good on phone speakers, lyrics that require no thinking, just tapping and skipping. They've trained us to crave what's easy and punish what's deep. New artists aren't signed for their voice, they're signed for their image, their follower count, their meme potential. And if they don't perform, labels drop them like dead weight. The music industry doesn't care if your song heals someone, they care if it hits 1 million streams in a week. The good music still exists, it's just buried. You'll find it in Bandcamp links, tiny YouTube channels, SoundCloud corners, artists who refuse to play the game, who still write from the heart. But you have to search for it. The algorithm won't hand it to you because there's no ad money in soul. The biggest artists in the world today might not even be the best. They're just the ones the machine lets you hear. Before playlists and profit margins, before the internet turned every song into background noise, there was a time when music meant something. It wasn't just consumed, it was felt, it was lived, it shaped the world. In the 60s and 70s, music wasn't just entertainment, it was protest, it was peace, it was poetry. Bob Dylan didn't chase fame, he spoke for a movement. The Beatles didn't follow trends, they set them. Marvin Gaye didn't look at the charts, he asked, what's going on? The artists weren't trying to go viral, they were trying to make sense of a chaotic world. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Eagles, Queen, these weren't TikTok stars, they were musicians. They played instruments, they wrote lyrics that told stories. Albums weren't just collections, they were journeys. You didn't just listen to an album like The Dark Side of the Moon, you experienced it. Songs like Hotel California, Imagine, Wish You Were Here, they made you think. The writing wasn't shallow, it had depth, meaning a message you could carry for life. Today, most lyrics feel like tweets with a beat. Back then, they were literature. From Aretha Franklin's voice to Stevie Wonder's keys to Freddie Mercury's stage presence, there was soul in every note. You didn't need a music video to go viral. One voice, one guitar, that was enough. And when you heard those songs live, it wasn't a concert, it was church. Decades later, these songs haven't faded. They've outlived trends, outlasted fads, and keep reaching new generations like myself. Because real music, timeless music, never dies. And maybe that's the proof we need, that despite all the noise out there, the soul music still echoes. So there you guys have it. We looked at the rise of music, we looked at the downfall of music, we looked at how the labels, these corporations, these streaming platforms, they push what they want to push, what gets them paid, and everything like that. But I'm curious to know what your favorite genre is, what your favorite era of music was. So let me know down below. And I think that, at the end of the day, regardless on how bad or how good certain music is, there's a lot you can learn from it. If you just keep an open mind and really, really dig into it, I guess. But that's a little bit different. So shout out to you guys. If you guys made it to the end of this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next. I'm not going to sit here and hold you out too much longer. It's your boy MGeezy out.